So, hey guys, welcome to a new video. This time we will try out a totally different video style. And yeah, some people of you might know that I'm preparing for 1RM competitions, so 1 rep max competitions. And the hardest part for me are muscle ups with heavy weights. So today I want to make a video about my weighted muscle up. So in the first step of the video we will analyze my weighted muscle up and see what are the key points that I definitely need to improve. And in the second step of the video we will look at 3 people who already have a super strong weighted muscle up and take a look at the technique they use and maybe we can find out why are they so strong. The first one we will check is Vitam with super strong muscle ups. Then we will go for Cyborg, who has a totally different technique, and the third one is my boy Leon from Kelly Movement, who has also a super strong and super clean muscle up. And yeah, maybe we can find out what they are doing different from me and what I can learn from them. So have fun watching the video and maybe you can also get some lessons for your own training from this video. So let's start the video by analyzing my latest weighted muscle ups. For that I will check the video on my laptop and I'll screen it for you in the video. And these muscle ups we will check now are from yesterday's training, so pretty fresh, and yeah, we will use that for the analysis. So the first muscle up we will check is a 16.5 kilogram muscle up for 2 reps. As you can see, I'm starting using slightly of a false grip. I'm experimenting a lot right now with the transition because that's where I have a lot of trouble. And this time I tried it with some more semi-false grip, not a real false grip. First rep went pretty good, but you can see in the transition that at the end of the transition my wrist doesn't came up in the same speed as my elbow and it kind of blocks the flow of the movement, which interrupts the movement a little. Also I'm losing the tension in my legs while going up, and the pointy toes, and there are no pointy toes anymore and the feet came up, which is a style question, but I don't like the look, so I want to keep the toes pointy. But the pull speed is good, and what I also like about this rep is that I'm initiating the transition really fast, so that my center of mass is coming up really fast, and so I don't have to do a lot of pull work and I can use my push strength early. So the first mistake of the second rep comes directly after going down. As you can see, I'm going nearly straight down and not going forward a little bit. That's why when I come back up, I need to initiate some momentum over my knees because my body placement is not good and I don't have a good C shape to get over the bar. You can see if I'm going for slow-mo. Yeah. And again, as I said, my biggest problem, you can see that my wrist is not turning in the same time as my elbows do, which blocks again the movement, and you can see the transition is not smooth at all. But yeah, nevertheless, that's complaining on a high level. In the end, I am pretty satisfied with the progress. 2 weeks ago, I had the same training with 2.5 kilos less. And so I'm improving, but I think that my technique is still really bad. So let's check the next set. This was a little bit less weight. Again, I'm going for false grip or semi-false grip, and you can see the transition went a lot smoother in this rep, since I think I just focused more on the technique. The weight is a little bit lower, so it was not that exhausting. And also you can see that in the second rep the timing was much better. When I go down, I go a little bit more forward and then go up, and not only go down and then go up. And this made the second rep a lot smoother. But again, you can see that I need to re-grab in the transition, which makes the muscle up does not look that smooth. So as we can see from these two sets that we looked at, is that my biggest problem to work on is the transition timing, so that my wrist comes up in the same speed as my elbows, so I can really push up really fast. And the second problem is the negative movement, that after the first rep on the negative, then that I lose body tension, that I lose concentration, and I lose timing. So basically that are the things that I will work on in the future. So now let's take a closer look to the experts, how they do it, and what technique they uses, and what we can learn from them. So the first muscle ups we will look at are from, you can say, the muscle up king itself. The first one I know that ever achieved a 50 kilo muscle up, which is Vitam, or Vitam, just insanely strong. So we will take him as an example in the following video. This is a video I took from his Instagram. I put the link in the description. And I guess it's 20 kilo muscle up. And yeah, we will check that out. So in this video, he starts with a pretty narrow grip, which I also like. He has no false grip at all, so his wrist is completely under the bar. So what I think is really hard on his muscle up style, you can see he uses nearly no momentum at all, which I actually only see in his muscle up style, that when this is the bar, the normal people are moving over the bar in a C shape, and he just nearly pulls straight up and then pulls himself over the bar, so he goes up and then over the bar. You can see this technique pretty rarely. For me, this is super hard. I can't do this style. But yeah, as you can see, he is pretty successful with it. He uses the weight in front of his legs, not in between. And what you also can see is that he has mastered the fast transition a lot. And why is the fast transition so important on weighted muscle ups? Because the heavier the weight is, or the less energy you want to use for a muscle up, the faster you need to initiate the transition. Because if the weight is heavy, you can't pull easily to your belly button or to your hips on the muscle ups with your pull strength. You just can pull at least to your chest, and then you will need to initiate the transition so fast, because otherwise you're just falling down, because your pull only goes until here, and then you need to rotate your elbows out and push up. And he has mastered the speed of this totally. I think this is insane, really good technique. What I don't like about his technique is that he just not keeps his leg tight, which is totally not a strength issue for him. I guess he just don't cares about that, which is again critics on the highest fucking level, because he is insane. And yeah, what he also does, what I wouldn't recommend to people who can't control the muscle up, is to rotate the elbows out in a far angle, because this can cause shoulder injuries. And yeah, I just wouldn't recommend it. If you feel confident with it, if you're doing it for a long time already without pain, then of course go for it. You can do it for years without problem, but I'm sure a lot of people will have problems with that. So better go for more narrow elbows while initiating the transition. What he also does really good is while he has the transition, he starts in a regular grip, really tight grip, and then loosens the grip. And when he's here, you can see him grabbing again really tight so he don't fall back and push up. And that is something that I really need to learn, because I am not good at this transition and then re-grab the bar and push up, and he has mastered this. So yeah, pretty insane technique. You won't see it that often, that the people pull nearly vertical up and then shifts his weight over the bar. The most people you will see are going for a C shape. And yeah, first learning is loose grip, then tighten it again, and fast elbow transition. So the next muscle up style we will look at is from Cyboth. In the video, I guess there are also 20 kilo on the belt. And Cyboth is famous for his iron wrist muscle ups. In the video you will clearly see why it's called the iron wrist muscle ups. And yeah, it has of course some advantages to do it like this, but also some disadvantages. And just let's take a closer look at the video. So what you can clearly see after the first reps is that if this is the bar, he starts like this and ends like this. So he don't go the full rotation of the elbow and don't do the re-grab. He just stays in this wrist position. This has of course one big advantage, and the biggest advantage of this is that you don't need to come as close to the bar, and you don't need to shift so much weight over the bar, because you are taking the bar like this distance closer to you, which then is similar to a monkey bar muscle up, where you have no bar here but one here and one here. So it makes this transition a little bit easier, but on the other side you need to have of course iron wrists to do that, and also with 20 kilo extra on the belt, this is insane. So if you have a really strong wrist, then you can do it like him. I wouldn't recommend it to do it if you don't prepare for this. And pretty insane strength. I don't think that I will use this technique, but I am pretty impressed of it. And yeah, it's like a totally new different style, you know. You're making the transition kind of harder and easier at the same time, which is, yeah, a cool method. You can also see him initiating the transition pretty fast, and he is using the more shoulder healthier transition. He has the elbows pretty close to the body while he initiates the transition and pushes up. And he also does the muscle ups pretty efficiently. He don't pulls too high, and yeah, like once his chest passes the bar, he shifts the weight and then pushes up, which him and Vitam already have in common. The difference is that they are using a different transition style. He also has the weight in front, and you can see him going forward a little once he goes down. So he does not do it like Vitam, who goes nearly vertical down. He goes a little bit in front and then go up. So yeah, which is like a technique just to get a little more momentum to make it easier. So you can say that Vitam's technique is not that efficient but harder. Yeah, so what can we learn from Cyboth? That if we may be want to make the transition a little bit easier, and if we have super strong wrists, then we can increase the distance to the bar a little bit. No, we can decrease the distance to the bar a little bit by just shifting our wrists behind the bar to have more space for our chest to pass the bar. I hope that was understandable. So the third and the last one of our technique check is Leon from Calimove. I don't know exactly how much kilograms are on the belt, but I think somewhere between 10 kilos and 20 kilos. So let's check his muscle ups. So again, he uses a totally different style. He uses also a semi-false grip, so he starts with his wrist placement a little bit higher. So what I like about his muscle up style is that he can keep the hollow body position during the whole movement, which make the muscle up look really smooth and really beautiful. So I think what especially I can learn from Leon is that he has a really slow and controlled negative movement, which makes him perfectly prepared for the next repetition. The downside of this is that you need, of course, force then for the negative movement, which maybe cuts you 1 or 2 reps in the whole game, but it makes the rep look more controlled and more smooth, and maybe you are able to get the rep up more controlled. So what he also does, where I struggle, and what Vadim also did very good, is the rotation of the elbows. His elbows rotate nearly in the same speed as his wrists, so he has no trouble falling back once he's on the bar, because then he grabs again really tight and has his elbow up and can push. He also has the weight in front, and he also uses this forward motion while going down. So from the muscle up style, the most appealing to me from the beauty of the movement is the one from Leon, of course, and but to sum it up, what I need to improve and what I can learn from these is a fast transition, focus on the rotation speed, and focus on the regrab, so that my wrist comes from down here up there in one movement with strong grip, loose grip, and strong grip to not fall back. And the fourth thing that I learned is that I need to make my muscle ups more efficient. This is what you can see in perfection from Vadim. He only pulls up here and then directly initiates the transition and pushes up, which makes his muscle up more efficient, and maybe that's also next to his insane pulling strength why he can muscle up to 50 kilos. 2 more things that we learned from Leon's muscle ups and that also I need to use in my muscle ups are keeping the hollow body position, so focusing on a tight core to keep the hollow body position during the whole movement, and to do slow and controlled negative to really be prepared for the next rep and have the best starting position for the next repetition. So yeah, and the last learning is that you can also use a different transition style if you have iron wrists. Then you don't need to focus on the whole transition. You just can stick the wrist in this position and then push up, which gives you more space for the transition at your chest region, and you can initiate the push-up movement or the dip movement earlier, which in the end requires not as much pulling strength because you can start pushing up really early. And this is what we can learn from the Cyborg technique. So as you can see, there are many different techniques out there. Write me in the comments which one is the most appealing for you, and maybe if I oversaw something, or if you have some critics on my muscle ups, what I can do better next to the things that I already mentioned. And yeah, I hope you liked the video, new style, some technique analysis. If you want me to do that also for my other skills, then just write it in the comments, and see you in the next video.